Visibility of his camera in the car is really dark.
They have got to make something happen. Just come out of here with anything.
Today on the Performance Racing Network, it's qualifying and practice for the Cracker Barrel 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Good afternoon from a beautiful Middle Tennessee racetrack here at Nashville Superspeedway. Brad Gilley alongside Mark Garrow, about to have practice and qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400. And Mark, this all-concrete mile-and-a-third racetrack is in pristine shape this weekend, and looking forward to see who can make some big things happen.
The weather could not be better. Outstanding night last night to watch the Rackley Roofing 200 for the Craftsman Truck Series, and Rajah Caruth getting that checkered flag. And again, outstanding weather today. We've got more on the way for the Cracker Barrel 400 tomorrow, so it's just a great time to be at Nashville Superspeedway out here in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Coming up, we're going to have Group 1 practice. Some of those cars involve drivers like Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, to name a few. Each group gets one 25-minute practice session. Then we'll go out for single-car qualifying. That is coming up right after this from Nashville Superspeedway.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR. From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Drivers, start your engine!
Atlanta Motor Speedway is built for battles, high speeds, tight packs, dramatic finishes.
Crossover move! They're 3 wide for the lead!
But you've never seen Atlanta Motor Speedway like this, under the lights, where every moment feels bigger. Experience the Quaker State 400, available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th. Under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at atlantamotorspeedway.com.
When we come back, we'll have cars rolling here at Nashville Superspeedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
It's hard to believe in this day and age in the United States of America that children are hungry.
Our time on this planet is short. We have to give back to those in need.
Every child has a chance, no matter what obstacles they may encounter.
Never have we been taxed more as a society to help kids the way we are right now.
At Speedway Children's Charities, our mission is simple. Help every child we can.
Because all children
deserve joy
and hope
and love.
I'm PRN's Doug Turnbull, co-host of the 5 to Go podcast, a weekly deep dive into 5 motorsports issues. Devin Kupka gives the Gen Z view.
One thing that I've never seen before, when the cars got 4 wide, everybody stood up cheering.
And championship-winning mechanic Dan Elliott leans on his decades in the garage and promoting.
Unless everybody is aware of the rules, then no, it's not fair for everyone.
Listen to the 5 to Go podcast on GoPRN.com and subscribe on Apple and Spotify.
Coming up later on from Nashville Superspeedway, it is going to be the Tennessee Lottery 250 for the Xfinity Series. The teenager, William Sawalich, just moments ago won the pole position. He'll share the front row with Austin Hill. We've got 2 pit reporters today, Alan Cavana and Heather DeBow. Heather.
And here with A.J. Allmendinger, he's going to be in Group 2 for this practice and qualifying session, but you're coming off of a really strong performance at Charlotte, best finish of the season. What do you think is clicking between you and your team right now?
I mean, I think we're just showing up with speed at the racetrack. So all the men and women at Cog Racing, the hard work that they're doing during the week at the shop, for the most part, it's paying off. And I felt like there's only been a couple of races this year that stand out where it's just like we didn't have a lot of raw speed. So that makes it a little bit easier. And then last week, I felt like pit stops, Trent Owens, my crew chief, everybody executed. I did an okay job of driving, and days like that for our race team that keeps trying to grow, when you have a good race car like that, those are the important days to really execute, and we did a great job of that.
Now, being in Group 2, what advantages do you get to be able to watch Group 1 in this practice session? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, this place is kind of known for putting down a lot of rubber. The Xfinity cars put it down, then they pull it off as they're qualifying, and then our rubber goes and lays it down. Just so, I think more than anything, I look at just how the track changes. Maybe the guys start, as the run goes on, they start kind of moving around on the racetrack. This is a pretty self-explanatory racetrack. You don't move around a lot, but just little stuff like that.
All right, that's some good insight there from A.J. Allmendinger as he waits his turn to get on track. Alan Cavana.
Christopher Bell was just getting some intel from his JGR teammate, Eric Almirola. What do you want to learn in this 25 minutes?
Well, I think the track's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens in 3 and 4. It seems like that the bump down there, it's always been rough in 3 and 4, but it seems like it's a little bit more pronounced just watching the trucks and Xfinity cars. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Is that the best way around that bumpy part of 3 and 4? Is that why it's such an issue?
These cars are just really, really sensitive to being run across something like that. The trucks and Xfinity cars, if you hit it, it kind of pushes, where these cars, it just gets really loose.
All right, Christopher Bell, something to look forward to. Wants to learn so much about that bump out in 3 and 4.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much, Heather. Cars are on the track right now. Again, this is Group 1. The field just split up into 2 groups. That gives them plenty more racetrack. But talking about the advantage of being in Group 2, Mark, this first group's going to go out there. They're going to lay a bunch of rubber down on that concrete. That's going to put it closer to race conditions. If you're in Group 2, that's what you get to start on. And a big advantage, especially if you had a teammate in Group 1 that you can gather some intel from.
Well, they talked about this racetrack taking rubber. What we saw last night, it certainly began to do that, but the track is much darker, much blacker in the corners after the Xfinity Series practice. Couldn't believe how much tire rubber went down there, and the track really looks wide now. It certainly looks like there's a lot of rubber, and they've got a number of grooves in which they can hunt for.
Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And here now with last week's winner, Ross Chastain, coming off of a big win with that World 600. You've had a smile on your face all weekend. Have those emotions set in now? I know a lot of people have been asking you about it.
They have, Heather. It's been an incredible week. It's been everything I ever dreamed of to win the Coca-Cola 600, one of the massive races in our sport, and to take our Jockey Chevy to victory lane with Trackhouse. Especially, add in the layers of what we went through Saturday and through the night to build that car. It was everything we dreamed of, and we've done a lot of celebrating. We've done a lot of work on this. We want to keep that focus up and keep that effort up, and we want to go out here and perform again. This is really where Trackhouse was born. So for our Busch Light Chevy today, we want to put a strong foot forward today and tomorrow.
You spoke about in the media center itching to get in the race car because you said every week it's a new week and we just have to bring our best efforts. So what are you looking to do here in this practice session?
Well, we've got Daniel Suarez, my teammate, in this first group, so he's good quick right now. That's a good start. From there, I'll just have to feel. I was in the Xfinity car, the JRM, and moved around the track and felt the bump over turn forward. It's always a problem, and it's a little different this year, so see how the Cup car feels. No one's spun out yet, so that's promising. That we've all got, our cars are in a good spot and, competitive. So I'll plug into his radio now and see what he's saying and talk to Phil Sir to see if there's any last-minute adjustments, but really, really beneficial to have a teammate. As much as I don't want Daniel to be in it because it's a rad metric score, just having that data is so much easier to make educated decisions and guesstimates going into our practice. So today, we want to be fast. So at the end of the day, however it drives, I want to be fast.
Thanks, Ross. Have fun out there.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Heather. Appreciate it. So far, early on in practice for group number 1, Carson Hocevar at the top of the speed chart. Last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway in practice for the Coca-Cola 600, Carson Hocevar was the fastest. He went out to make his qualifying lap, ended up bobbling coming off of turn number 4. He started 39th, right next to Ross Chastain on the last row. Like Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar drove his way up toward the front, and just when he had an opportunity mark to get to the front on a late race restart, kaboom, blew the engine going up through the gears in turn number 2.
And wound up 34th in that final running order. Certainly he has had speed, but 6 finishes this season of 30th or worse in the first 13 races. So almost batting 500 in that category, one you don't want to be in. But they have the speed, so eventually things should turn around when they get better execution each and every weekend.
Yeah, very impressive. 2 drivers are up over 160 miles per hour here around this mile and a third racetrack. Both Carson Hocevar at 160.338 and Bubba Wallace, who's at 160.236. And again, this is still early on with Group 1 practice here at Nashville.
And that's just a tick slower than Denny Hamlin won the pole with a year ago. He took the top spot at 160.354, and that's a trip of 29.859 seconds around this 1 1/3 mile concrete track.
And what a crazy race we had here a year ago, Mark. We had some weather come through that put a little bit of a delay midway through the race. When it was all said and done, at the end of it, Denny Hamlin appeared that he was going to be driving away into victory lane until Austin Cindric got caught up in an accident coming to the white flag for Hamlin. And then 5 overtime restarts on a night where they were already stretching their Sunoco fuel mileage.
31 additional laps in that race. That is what the 5 overtimes cost. And everybody kept thinking, no way Joey Logano makes it. No way Joey Logano makes it. Joey Logano made it. He took the checkered flag.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And again, like you mentioned, everyone was stretching to the end, and we went 31 laps past the end with those 5 overtimes. So who knows what's going to happen here this weekend? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Carson Hocevar the fastest, followed by Bubba Wallace. Ty Gibbs is 3rd quick. Justin Haley 4th. Ryan Blaney just jumped up to 5th quick. Now that dropped Daniel Suarez to 6th. Alex Bowman 7th. Austin Cindric 8th. 9th is Chris Buescher. Corey Heim running a 23:11 car. He is 10th quickest.
Currently running the 11th fastest lap, John Hunter Nemechek, 12th, Kyle Larson, Riley Herbst 13th, 14th, Zane Smith, Austin Dillon 15th, 16th, Cody Ware, Ty Dillon 17th, Cole Custer 18th, J.J. Yeley 19th, and Chad Fincham in 20th. Right now, the best 5-lap average, Carson Hocevar. The best 10-lap average is also Carson Hocevar.
So we still have more than 15 minutes left in this Group 1 practice. Then we'll put the Group 2 cars out there and then qualify for the Cracker Barrel 400 here at Nashville Super Speedway. A lot of excitement here in Music City this weekend, Mark, as we're now getting into the second half of the regular season. 13 races down. William Byron was able to reclaim the points lead after winning 3 stages of the Coca-Cola 600 and coming up just shy after Ross Chastain passed him with 6 to go. But William Byron retook the points lead from his teammate Kyle Larson last week, and those 2 cars have shown so much strength this year.
They absolutely have, and one of the interesting things about this weekend's race at Nashville Superspeedway, this is the final cutoff race, if you will, for the top 32 that are going to be the 32 drivers in that special in-season tournament that's going to be part of the TNT broadcast.
Yeah, that is...
Brad Keselowski on the bubble. He went from 33rd to 32nd last week, jumped ahead of Riley Herbst with his first top 5, first top 10 of the season, and certainly would like to solidify that to be part of that tournament. So it'll be interesting to see, everybody that makes that tournament. It'll certainly be interesting to see how NASCAR's version of March Madness is going to work and all the fantasy racing, betting, and all kinds of crazy stuff that goes along with it.
It is going to be fun, and what Mark is talking about, like he said, an in-season tournament, a bracket. That'll start at Atlanta and run for the next 5 races on the schedule going through the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But what essentially will happen, Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono, the next 3 races on the schedule after Nashville, they're going to take the average of the 32 cars that are qualified for that in-season tournament and seed them in a bracket. And essentially what will happen is, let's just say Denny Hamlin is the top seed, and let's just say Carson Hocevar, he's fastest right now, is the bottom seed. They'll be head-to-head, and you'll see them sort of like an NCAA college basketball tournament. So what will happen that week, it would be Hamlin versus Hocevar. Whoever finishes in front of the other moves on to the next round, and so on, till you whittle it down to the final two drivers. And there's $1 million prize at the end of this 5-race in-season tournament. Pretty special deal.
I think the drivers have kind of played it down a little bit going to it at this particular point. It's something that's going to be new. It's part of the new TV package that we have in NASCAR. But I think once we get to it, there's not a race driver that puts on a helmet that doesn't want to win it, whatever he's involved in. And so I think it's going to be important once they get to it. I think there's going to be a lot of fun with that. It's certainly going to bring a lot of interest from the fans, a lot of arguing from the fans, the Hocevar fans. Again, if you got Kyle Larson against Carson Hocevar, and this is racing, man, anything can happen. So, again, we'll see the miracle team maybe make it to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 like we would see in a March Madness basketball tournament, or we may see the favorites just mow down the fields, kind of sort of like we saw this year. So it'll be interesting to see just how that all plays out.
Yeah, and this will run concurrent to just regular racing, regular points, getting in all of those other things as well. And Denny Hamlin, give him a lot of credit for this. He actually simulated this over the last 2 seasons, and now NASCAR has adopted it. Let's go down to pit road with Alan Cavada. What's going on, Alan?
Oh, just looking down the leaderboard here. Bubba Wallace sitting there in P2, had a fast lap, put himself in position 2, but he said he was complaining about a tight condition coming off of the corner, and they came in. Usually an indication when you come in early in these practice sessions, it's a change you want to make. So they are in making an adjustment now, see if they can get back out there for a longer run. But he's sitting there P2. His teammate this week, you mentioned Corey Heim. Corey Heim in a beautiful Carolina blue car, also sponsored by country music star Eric Church's bar. So it's a good-looking car out there. He's complaining about being too tight. We mentioned that bump. There's that bump going into turn 3. He says when they hit that bump, it makes his car very loose. So they're trying to figure out how to navigate that. The best car on track, just scanning the radio, scanning his competitors. Sounds like Ryan Blaney. At the moment, you look at the charts, he's 4th best in single lap speed, but a lot of competitors really like what he's doing off turn 2. They say he can get on the gas faster than anybody out there right now.
Yeah, Alan, actually, I was just watching Ryan Blaney, and you were 100% correct, because when it comes to 5-lap average, 10-lap average, or 10-lap, 15-lap average, Ryan Blaney is the fastest over the longer run. And among all the cars that come out of the Penske shop in Mooresville, North Carolina, Mark, Josh Berry with Wood Brothers Racing. That car is built side by side with the other Penske cars. Big win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great weekend for him. Austin Cindric's been to victory lane. Joey Logano, a big win for him at Texas. And Ryan Blaney, the one with the most speed out of that shop this year, is the one who still has yet to find a trophy.
And you figure it's got to happen at any particular point. They've all 4 led a lot of laps. They've had the speed right from the jump. That is certainly a little bit different than maybe a year ago, where it took them a while to find what they needed. But they've been able the last 2 years to really hit on it right at the end of the season and sort of change everybody's outlook on how you win a NASCAR Cup Series championship. So at this particular point, Blaney has run the most laps so far in this practice, 22. Also 22 for Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, among the others that have run 22 laps and counting in this practice.
Developing story in the garage right now, and Heather DeBow is checking on it, so we'll hear from her shortly. But talked to A.J. Allmendinger at the top of our show. They were talking about how thrilled they were. 4th place finish in the Coca-Cola 600. They're going to be in the Group 2 practice session coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. Cars had gone through inspection. NASCAR officials pulled that Kaulig Racing number 16 back to the garage area. Not sure why yet, and we're checking on this developing story, so stick around for that. We're going to have more info on you for you here very shortly. So it's never good, Mark, when you go through everything and they see something and go, why don't you guys come back here for a minute?
Not when you're parked where you need to park just to go out there on the racetrack to practice, and they tell you, come out of line and let's take a second look at this. That's never a good sign. That's like the police knocking at your door. Hello? If it's 2 a.m. in the morning, not good. Not good at all.
No, not good at all. So watching the cars go around this track, and, we talk about what they have throughout the length of this practice session. They get one set of tires for practice. And in a 25-minute session, you're likely going to go out and make your lap early. But as Alan had pointed out, Ryan Blaney being one of the fastest cars on the racetrack and the way it's handling, this is where you really start to learn what we might see in tomorrow's race. And being the fastest over a longer run, like Blaney is, over 10 and 15 laps respectively, that's what you want to see in a race like this. It's going to run 300 laps tomorrow night.
So the fastest 15-lap average right now, Blaney. Then you have Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman. They are the top 5 in that category. That could bode well for them during the race. And we're seeing now, certainly down in turns 1 and 2 in particular, it is really getting black down there. They are pounding the rubber into this concrete surface.
Yeah, they are. We have just over 10 minutes to go for Group 1 practice. We'll be back with more here from Nashville Superspeedway.
We work hard to keep our cars looking great on the outside, but engine components need our attention too. That's where you can trust Z-Max Micro Lubricant to disperse carbon buildup in your engine and fuel system to keep your car or truck running at its peak. By soaking into the metal of your engine, Z-Max Micro Lubricant improves performance, extends engine life, and reduces emissions. Trust the many customers who've said, "Thanks for saving my engine." Find out more at zmax.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I'm PRN's Alexis Eric. Want to listen to PRN anywhere you go? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to live race broadcasts and have on-demand access to your favorite shows like Fast Talk, Pit Reporters, Garage Pass, and PRN's Pass the Track. Download today to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Get the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app, available on Apple App Store and Google Play. Find more information at goprn.com.
In Las Vegas, pedal to the metal is all we know on or off the racetrack, whether you're there for NASCAR, live music, incredible restaurants, or world-class entertainment. Vegas is the town that never slows down. With so many ways to play and so much to explore, Las Vegas encourages you to go all out. Head to visitlasvegas.com for more. Group 1 practice here at Nashville Superspeedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Our planet is home to some of the most amazing creatures you could ever imagine, from the biggest bears to the smallest birds and everything in between. If we want our kids and their kids to experience the magic of wildlife that we have today, it's on us to step it up and take action. You can make a difference. Learn more about wildlife conservation in your area and how you can help. This is Eli Winders. Let's make sure our wildlife is around for generations to come. Y'all take care of the earth and it'll take care of us. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
The speed, the drama, the only NASCAR race in California. The Toyota Save Mart 350 NASCAR weekend rolls into Sonoma Raceway July 11th through 13th. 3 days of high-speed thrills, edge-of-your-seat action, and family fun in the heart of wine country. Bring the whole family. Kids tickets start at just $10. Don't miss NASCAR's biggest stars battling for victory. Get your tickets now at SonomaRaceway.com. This is NASCAR. This is California. This is Sonoma.
We're back here live at Nashville Superspeedway. Cup practice and qualifying going on right now. Denny Hamlin is in Group 2, so he's still waiting to go out and make some laps, but he's also waiting on child number 3 to get here. Officially, possibly a due date tomorrow, but I just checked with the team, and they said really no movement on that front as far as anything to report. That's important because they have a backup driver here just in case. Ryan Truex, still a part of Joe Gibbs Racing, is here. I saw him this morning around the garage. He is ready to make laps, jump in the car. He will not make any laps here in practice today because, again, they said no real significant movement in terms of Hamlin baby on the way so far, at least imminent. So Denny Hamlin will make all the laps here in practice today. But the plan is for Ryan Truex to be here and be on standby should they need anything, guys.
Thank you, Alan. Denny Hamlin scheduled to make his 700th career start here tomorrow at Nashville Superspeedway in the Cracker Barrel 400. But third child on the way for Hamlin, so big congratulations to he and his fiancée, Jordan Fish.
That gets to the point where you can call it a posse, a tribe. You know, he's starting to, getting close to a, well, you count his wife, there's a starting 5 for his basketball team.
That's true, a nice little family.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the garage with Header DeBow.
And right now, A.J. Allmendinger's car is actually being pushed out of the garage. NASCAR has cleared them at this point. Actually, they're coming back in the garage over the scales again to be reevaluated. But what the issue was, I just talked to Chris Rice. They said NASCAR saw something on the grid that they didn't like, and it had to do with the stays, which are what holds the splitter from the top of the left front. They had to rewire those stays. And so now they're going to go through tech once more to see if they pass to get out on track. But that was the issue for the 16. They had the car jacked up. They were working on that left front. They had the hood open, rewired those stays, as Chris Wright said. And right now they're going through tech once again to make sure it is correct before NASCAR will allow them to go out and practice.
Thank you very much, Heather. His teammate Ty Dillon is on the track right now. Mark, I'll be curious to see if that car gets any extra scrutiny before we go out and qualify here shortly.
It might get a glance, and with only just under 6 minutes left in this practice session, depending on how things work in the inspection process right now for AJ, he could miss some practice time.
Yeah, that is very possible. We have just over 5 minutes to go for Group 1 practice. Then we'll have about a 5-minute break before Group 2 goes out. A.J. Allmendinger is in Group 2, so it's always fascinating to see what happens with that cat-and-mouse game that happens between the garage and the NASCAR officials, and sometimes the cat catches the mouse or vice versa. Sometimes the mouse gets away.
It is a very tight box these teams have to work in, and certainly I can't believe anything was done too overtly to try to circumvent one of the rules, because it is such a tight box. When you're talking about the splitter, it's out there for God and country to be able to see just walking by.
Yeah, hey, look, it's NASCAR's job to level the playing field and make sure the integrity of the sport is being held within the rule book. It's the team's job to find every gray area they can and see what they can do to manipulate things. That's why the rule book is constantly updated. And quite honestly, Mark, my opinion, I feel like that is the charm of the sport of NASCAR. You're always trying to push the boundary. Sometimes you push it over the boundary. Sometimes something just becomes out of spec. And out of spec or pushed over the boundary, either way, it would still be a rule book violation or something here that they had to correct before the car hits the track for the race weekend.
Well, they've called that for years creative engineering. And back in the day, when inspection, the process wasn't nearly as detailed as it is right now and did not have the technology that it has right now. You had the, 100-pound lead radios in cars. You had buckshot in frame rails, and drivers could, drive down the front straightaway. One time at North Wilkesboro, it looked like somebody put, a couple thousand pellets down on the ground on the front straightaway. It's like going down a dirt road for 2 or 3 laps. They were flinging into pit road. They were hitting people in the grandstands until all that went away. Never knew who did it. Darrell Waltrip might have had a hand in all that.
They've laid claim to that at times, not saying it was that time.
But they did. They got a chance to do a lot of different things, right? And, Harry Gant one time went on a tear, and he won 3 races in a row because that team had Andy Petrie and that team had figured out how to bend the rear axle and give them a little advantage with the car picking up speed going through the corners. And back then, instead of making it illegal, just everybody found out about it, and they all started doing the same thing, and so that's how they caught up to it. So back then, not only were they creative in trying to get around the rules, they were creative within the rules as well to make their cars go faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's their job to find everything you can do to push the limits. Sometimes we get those limits pushed over a little bit in different ways, and that's just all part of the charm of the sport. Carson Hocevar continues to lead the group. Ryan Blaney continues to lead over the longer run with the fastest 10 and 15 lap average as cars are winding down practice here with less than 5 minutes to go in group number 1 at Nashville Superspeedway.
Daniel Suarez just came by the start-finish line very slowly. Then he let a couple of cars go by and then started to pick up speed again and seems to be up to full song on the backstretch here at Nashville Superspeedway as we again wind down this practice session. We're about to get to the 2-minute mark of this session. Ty Dillon bringing his car back in, John Hunter Nemechek, as well as backing into his pit stall.
Yeah, so Suarez brings his car to pit road. Sometimes you never know what they're doing. If they slow on the racetrack, maybe they want to try and tuck in behind someone, see how their car is going to feel in dirty air. Maybe they have an issue. Sometimes they just have a bobble out there on the racetrack as well. So Suarez is going to back it into his stall with 2 minutes to go now in this practice.
And Ryan Blaney seems to be doing the same thing right now. Just came by the start-finish line. actually downshifted, now starting to pick up speed just a little bit again. Again, Blaney, quickest 10-lap average, quickest 15-lap average in this opening practice for the Cracker Barrel 200. Carson Hocevar has run the fastest lap, followed by Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Blaney fourth fast on a single lap, and Zane Smith, who had a runner-up here a year ago, he is fifth.
And here comes Blaney onto pit road. Now, Mark, I have to wonder if both for Blaney and Suarez, they were not trying to practice their entry to pit road, because Blaney did it again. He came in hot. It is all part of the practice, and Nashville Superspeedway is so unique, Mark. This track is almost deceptively large and deceptively small at the same time, in that at 1 1/3 you look at it like an intermediate track, and the track actually almost looks like, from our vantage point here, it's a little bit longer like we typically see for a 1.5 mile track. But at 14 degrees of banking and the corner radius being very tight here, they'll tell you that this track races like a short track, in that you're going to need a heavy brake package and different things like that for the series that do have the options for that. So coming onto pit road, that is another deceptively tricky spot here of this racetrack, and it's very easy to try and come in way too hot.
Yeah, not a lot of banking, as you talked about, and it kind of falls away from them at the entry of pit road, which comes, of course, at the exit of turn number 4. And as you mentioned, a lot of short track characteristics. This is a very unique animal. It is a one-off on the NASCAR Cup Series. There's no other track like it that they race on, and it has some big track characteristics. It has a little bit, if you look at it looking straight down on it, kind of looks a little bit like maybe a Charlotte, might be a little bit of Atlanta in it, but as you talked about, not nearly the same kind of banking.
Yeah, for sure. So here we are. We're wrapping up practice here for group number 1. The red and black flags are out, and we are going to give you a rundown of what we have here for Group 1 practice. Carson Hocevar, like he was last week at Charlotte, the fastest. Bubba Wallace, second quick, followed by Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, Zane Smith now rounding out the top 5. 6th was Justin Haley, Daniel Suarez 7th, 8th Alex Bowman, 9th Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson rounds out the top 10.
Then 11th, it's going to be Chris Buescher, Corey Heim 12th, John Hunter Nemechek 13th, 14th Riley Herbst, Austin Dillon 15th, 16th is Cody Ware. Ty Dillon ran the 17th fastest lap, 18th Cole Custer, J.J. Yelly 19th with Chad Fincham 20th.
Heather DeBoe's been following the story of A.J. Allmendinger's car, which was pulled back to the garage. What can you tell us now, Heather?
Well, Brad, the time is ticking down on Group 1 practice of just finishing, so this team has 10 more minutes to get through tech. Now, they didn't pass that time. The team had to jack up the right side of the car. They changed the shocks on the right side, and I see 2 laying on the left side of that number 16 machine. So it's questionable at this point if A.J. Allmendinger will get to practice, but the team is doing everything they can to thrash to get this car to where NASCAR wants it and will approve them to be able to go out on track.
Ooh, sticky situation for them. Again, A.J. Allmendinger coming off of a 4th-place finish last week at the Coca-Cola 600. Now some issues in the tech line. We'll continue to keep up with that story, as well as get our Group 2 practice underway as we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Chase Elliott, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Coca-Cola 600 winner Ross Chastain among the drivers who are about to go out for Group 2 practice here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Hey, Joey Logano here, the driver of the number 22 Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang. What can a 3-time champion do by the end of this ad? A pit stop and grabbing a hunk of pizza at the closest convenience store near you. To find a location, visit huntbrotherspizza.com.
By downloading the free PRN mobile app, you can listen to all of our live race broadcasts anywhere. You'll also have easy access to all of our award-winning studio shows. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app.
The speed, the drama, the only NASCAR race in California. The Toyota Save Mart 350 NASCAR weekend rolls into Sonoma Raceway July 11th through 13th. 3 days of high-speed thrills, edge-of-your-seat action, and family fun in the heart of wine country. Bring the whole family. Kids tickets start at just $10. Don't miss NASCAR's biggest stars battling for victory. Get your tickets now at SonomaRaceway.com. This is NASCAR. This is California. This is Sonoma.
From Nashville Superspeedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Time to pull down on the handle and start rolling them here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
The green flag flies at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
We're about to contest the Coca-Cola 600. We're racing at Texas Motor Speedway.
Now Keselowski goes way up the racetrack.
Here comes Harrison Burton. He rockets to the lead. Trouble. Car goes around. It's Chris Buescher. Joey Logano battles to the outside. They come back to the start-finish line.
Bubba Wallace looks inside. And now here's Byron. Takes a quick left to block him. They head back to one.
Here goes Ross Chastain. He's going to the bottom of the racetrack. Bubba goes up. Blaney hits the outside wall off of turn 2. Can Christopher Bell do anything with him? He gets down to the bottom of the racetrack. Briscoe dives to the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side. They get loose. They spin. Now Tyler Reddick does a 360. So does Briscoe. Heading into turn number 7 as he wraps it around. The crowd is cheering for Daniel Suarez here on this final lap. Allmendinger gets into Alex Bowman. Ross Chastain back out to the front for the final time.
This is PRN.
We're back at Nashville Super Speedway. The opening practice for the Cracker Barrel 400 has been completed. The second group of cars getting set to go out for their 25-minute session as well. For A.J. Allmendinger, he's got to feel a little bit like a ping-pong ball lately. Last 3 races, he's gone from +6 above the cut line to -33 below the cut line, and now he's the first driver just underneath the bubble at -7.
Mark, I still find it incredible that 13 races in, halfway through the regular season, last week after that 4th-place finish in the Coca-Cola 600, A.J. Allmendinger jumped up 8 spots in the standings. Look, by the time we get this deep into the season, you don't see that much movement of someone going up or down. But that says everything about how tight things are right now in the NASCAR Cup Series. And right now, Ryan Preece, in spite of a disqualification at Talladega Superspeedway, he's the driver on the good side of the cut line, but he's on the bubble. But that could drastically change here in just one race.
And, also Chris Buescher's right there just underneath. You have A.J. Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, John Hunter Nemechek, all within shouting distance, maybe a Carson Hocevar as well.
Yeah, so all of these races are very critical and important. And what's really interesting about this, too, sometimes you get further beneath the cut line. Brad Keselowski's right there. He told me last week at RFK Racing that, look, we're not worried about it because even though we're 32nd in points, all you have to do is win and you make the playoffs. I mean, he's calm. You would think that you wouldn't be that calm, or at least that's how he comes across. But with those other drivers that you just mentioned, they have to think about a lot of different opportunities. Okay, can we point our way above the cut line? If so, if someone behind the cut line wins, how does that change it? Because then things start to move up. Keselowski, it's easy. We have to win. We're more than 100 points back. For some of these other teams, you could say they have options, but sometimes options aren't a good thing when you're making decisions on top of the pit box.
Just a few minutes ago, I asked Brad Keselowski that question down there in the media center here at Nashville Super Speedway, and I said, basically just like you, no strategy, right? Just try to win the race. And he keeps falling back on, I just want to get better execution. If we execute better, we'll eventually get around to getting closer to winning races. It's been a dismal year for them as far as the execution until they put it all together last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's go down to Alan Cavana.
And 25 minutes on the racetrack for Alex Bowman. How was it for you?
Honestly, the speed chart doesn't look amazing. We had dirty air the whole beginning of the run and didn't lay down a big lap, but I was pretty happy with it. I feel like our long run speed was pretty okay, even in dirty air, and once we got some clean air, I thought our pace was pretty decent. So, this place is tricky. It never feels amazing with how different the two ends are and just being a concrete, weird shaped, oddly sized racetrack compared to what we're used to, but as far as practices I've had at Nashville, I feel pretty good with our Ally 48, so hopefully we can dial it in for qualifying.
I know there was questions going into 3 where they did a little patch on a bump, what have you. Did you hit it? What was it like?
It's still a big bump over there. It might be a bigger bump, but it's always been a big bump over there, so it just gets tricky, especially with the next-gen cars, because, you see the truck and Xfinity cars, they hit it with the nose and kind of fly the nose for a minute. We all hit it with the back of the car, and it makes it a little harder to estimate where we're going to end up at once it lands. So a little sketchy, but we all got to deal with it. Same for everybody.
A little sketchy, fun for us watching. Heather Dubow.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger is now strapped into that race car. He got in the car here in the garage. I got to catch up with his crew chief, Trent Owens, and he said that they were just off by 30 thousandths on that left front. NASCAR was out on the grid. They didn't like what they saw, had him come back through to go through the floor scanner. Now, one thing that I wasn't aware of, so this is on me, when you go on the floor scanner, you actually have struts on the car. You don't go through tech with shocks on. So that's why they were putting the shocks back on the car, as I reported earlier. But now he's good to go. So he's in the car, getting strapped in. The window net is going up, and he should make it out here for Group 2 practice.
Interesting. 30 thousandths off, but someone noticed it.
That's tight. That is really tight. Yeah. That's an IRS inspection going on right there.
Hey, good for A.J. Allmendinger, so we'll see how quickly he gets out there. Let's go down to Alan Cavana.
Nice long run for that in that practice for Kyle Larson. Usually that's an indication you like what you're driving. What's the story of the 5 car?
We actually didn't do any long runs there. We had to come in a couple times. I just didn't feel very comfortable with my balance, mostly on entry, a little bit on exit the first run. And then I thought we got our exit better, but the entry is still kind of a handful. So, William and Chase go out this next round and or session, whatever, and we'll see if we can learn anything from them. But, yeah, need to be better.
All right, you come out. I know drivers look at a lot of data. What do you particularly like to look at? Is it your car, what other cars are doing?
Well, there's a limited data to look at because SMT's broke. So you can only really see line and speed for this, what we're typically used to seeing steering and throttle, brake, all that. But, so it's a little bit harder, but just trying to, like the 12 I'm looking at right here compared to myself, he's, I think, really good. So just trying to look at what he does that is good.
All right, thank you for Kyle Larson for that. What he was talking about, he's looking at this video right now. It's kind of like this ghost car thing where Kyle Larson's lap is down there and he can watch what he was doing on the racetrack and see the car on there, but it also has those ghost car effect of the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. And again, everyone pointing to the Ryan Blaney car as being one of the best on the long run, so we can see exactly how they compare and where they differ out there on the track.
Thank you, Alan. Ryan Blaney not only went out there for the most laps at 44, he does have the best 10 and 15-lap average so far, and that car has been very strong for Kyle Larson, as he mentioned. He ran 27 laps out there on the racetrack, and in overall speed, he was 10th quick. He does not show up in the longer run speed, but to his point, he didn't make a longer consecutive run. So cars are about to roll out. They are rolling out for group number 2. We can tell you that A.J. Allmendinger's car is right there behind pit wall, but it is pointed toward pit road and about to go out as well.
Certainly a big sigh of relief from that team to be able to practice. We see Noah Gregson at the tail end of the line now, joining the field to come on to the racetrack along with Eric Jones, Michael McDowell. Meanwhile, coming up to speed, coming off the pit lane at the exit of it, which is actually on the back straightaway at the exit of turn number 2. William Byron is going to lead people out there along with Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin in that group with Chase Briscoe as well.
A.J. Allmendinger's car will be held for 10 minutes of this practice session. Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And Carson Hocevar was fastest in that first session. I heard you say that you didn't quite have the consistency you needed to wrap the corners of the track out there. So what more do you need in the 77 at this point, do you think?
Yeah, really, we just needed one adjustment, which we were able to do the last half of practice, or last few laps. We got our car better and was able to wrap lower, but I think we're P1 on 10 lap, and then the 12 I think is a little bit better, but I think we're second overall. But overall, I think a really good start to the 77 bunch.
Kyle Busch just got loose coming off of turn number 4. He actually spun his car. Looks like he didn't hit anything. He had to come back through the grass. He's coming back to pit road to the attention of that RCR crew. But, Mark, it's not Kyle Busch. When it comes to pushing the limits, he definitely does that. He'll push it over the limit sometimes. But, literally, this was just getting up to speed, and he came spinning off of turn 4.
And he's talked about the next-gen car doesn't like it. Doesn't like getting anywhere near to stepping over the edge, where in previous cars he could drive it a little over 100% and still be able to keep it pointed in the right direction. So that is a little bit of a shocker nonetheless here early on in this session.
Yeah, that brings out the red flag for now in this practice session. They don't put out the caution during practice. They put out the red. If someone has an incident during practice, that gives the officials a chance to go out there, check the racetrack, make sure he didn't spin in any fluid or with some debris on the racetrack. So the crew is up under the hood. They have to come put all the roof flaps down, the diffuser flap, and all of the other things to make sure that car is back to where it needs to be with all the safety components where they need to be.
And he probably flat spotted some tires, and that could put him in a bind as well. Let's go down to Heather DeVoe.
And in listening to the radio communication that Kyle Busch just told his team, he said, I was loose before the bump and spitting out on entry. So he lost it pretty early there in the corner.
Thank you very much for that, Heather. We appreciate that. And, yeah, Mark, that's a great point about flat spotting those tires. They get one set of practice tires. They get one set for qualifying, and then their race sets, which include the set that they carry over for qualifying. You flat spot these unless you get a special variance from NASCAR to say, yes, you can have an extra set. That's going to put you behind the 8 ball with the beginning of the practice session.
Then you have to make a choice. Do we practice or do we keep that set for qualifying? Or do we use it now and have one set less for the race?
Yeah, well, they get the 1 for practice, and that's, oh, we got another one. Josh Berry now goes through the grass as Kyle Busch's team is literally there checking the flat spots on the tires. Caution is back out. So now Josh Berry goes around here, which makes things – this is not what we typically see in practice, Mark, especially this early on. And, again, literally no one had even crossed the start-finish line, and he went spinning.
And he came through the infield grass, and ironically, when he finally got it onto asphalt, it was pit lane right in front of Kyle Busch's car when he finally got on the asphalt. So it's like, what in the world?
Yeah, all right, so they're going to check turn 4 again just to make sure nothing is a little out of whack there because obviously when you had 2 cars go spinning. Alan Cavana, what do you know down there on pit road?
Just listening to the radio, William Byron came on the radio and said, what's going on out there? I mean, these drivers, they want to get out there and practice, and they want to know what, why these cautions are happening and what's delaying them from getting some laps out there. Just a few laps for the 24 car. They came in and used actually the first caution to make a quick wedge adjustment, and we're lining up to go back out when the second caution happens. So a little impatience down here when you only get 25 minutes of practice. They want all the laps they can.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, at least the timing and scoring we're seeing, William Byron in Group 2 is the only one that's showing up on the scoreboard having completed a lap in practice. So under the red flag, once again, NASCAR officials are going through both turns 3 and turn 4 to see exactly what's going on here, Mark.
They had the same type of problem, Kyle Busch and Josh Berry, but a little different place on the racetrack. Still in that critical area around the bump, but it looked like Josh was a little bit lower on the racetrack than Kyle, but they had the same kind of problem and the same kind of result.
Yeah, so the drivers are just lined up on pit road right now, ready to go back out. Kyle Busch's car is still in its stall, and it looks like it is not jacked up anymore. In fact, I see one of the crew members down there with the torque wrench making sure that those nuts are tight on each one of the wheels before they send him back out. So tough early on here for group number 2 with some of these cars. Kyle Busch and Josh Berry, single car spins on their own coming off of turn number 4 here early on in group 2, Mark.
So, again, the safety crews have taken a scan of that area. They are now clearing the racetrack, so it is race ready according to them, or in this case, practice ready, on an absolutely beautiful day here in Lebanon, Tennessee at Nashville Superspeedway. Want to remind you, coming up a bit later on, the Tennessee Lottery 250, William Sawalich has won his first career pole position for the Xfinity Series. Austin Hill, the veteran, will start beside him in row 1. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier in row 2. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, row 3. The rest of the top 10, Nick Sanchez, Eric Almirola, Ross Chastain, and Connor Zilic.
All right, so here we go. The green flag is back out. They did not find anything in turns 3 and 4. William Byron leads Joey Logano, and we've got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Noah Gragson amongst a handful of other drivers heading back out there on the track. They're going to give them 4 extra minutes of practice, which is effectively what they've lost. Kyle Busch is leaving his pit stall as well. So we're going to watch turn number 4 here. William Byron makes it through clean. Joey Logano makes it through clean. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Noah Gragson, Todd Gilliland coming through as well. And Ross Chastain's going to be the next one. Chastain's taking a much higher groove, by the way, compared to any other car that we've seen. And again, this is just their get up to speed lap. So as soon as they come back around, we're going to be able to give you some lap times and some speeds here for this second group of practice. And Mark, with them just going around one time, some of these cars have picked up some of the rubber that group down, so they're going to have to put more down with those cars actually going around this track at speed.
And that will certainly take a lap or two. Logano going by now. Stenhouse, Noah Gragson on the racetrack now. Also, we see the Todd Gilliland car going by, and there is Kyle Busch. Looked like they put the same tires back on that car, so they might have thought might not have thought he flat spotted them too much.
Yeah, unless they get NASCAR to approve another set, they get one practice set of tires. So that's kind of be what you're stuck. That is a tough thing when you go spinning like that, for sure. So Eric Jones has moved up to the fastest so far in this practice session. He has now moved up to 10th quick. Denny Hamlin is the second, now third fastest overall, because William Byron goes up to third quick overall. Denny Hamlin is third quick so far in this group, too.
So then after Hamlin, you've got Elliott. Then it looks like McDowell in this group. Preece, I guess, is the next one behind Elliott. So they're starting to now pick up some speed. Their laps are getting a little bit quicker each and every time they go around this 1.3-mile concrete track now. So that running order is going to take a big swing here as we move into the next few minutes, at least, until the tires start to wear down.
Chase Elliott won the first next-gen race we had here at Nashville Superspeedway. That was 3 years ago. Now he goes up to the top, along with teammate William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin. The top four all from Group 2. The top four all over 160 miles per hour. So with some rubber laid down on this racetrack, now these Group 2 cars are starting to find some speed. Now Reddick moves up to the top. Denny Hamlin goes to second quick. A lot of action going on here with these early laps and the fresh Goodyear tires on the car. To give you an idea of what Kyle Busch is doing right now, well, he is 33rd quick. I think he's a little easy walking around this racetrack right now, Mark.
And he could be. It's kind of rough on the concrete tracks anyways. You get that little bit of vibration, but it could be a ka-thunka if those tires have been squared up a little bit on Kyle Busch and flat spotted. He is now heading back onto the apron of the racetrack in 3, heading for pit road.
Yeah, so for Kyle Busch, some tough luck early on. They're going to have a lot to fight, and when they go out to qualify, they will do that on a fresh set of tires, but obviously something was not right with his car, which is why he spun, so they're going to have to make some adjustments. Let's get more info from Heather DeBow on pit road.
And right as you guys were talking about Kyle Busch, he was talking to his crew chief, Randall Burnett, and telling him he has a vibration, and Randall said, hey, man, they wouldn't let us change the tires for that, even though they were flat spotted. We kind of expected you to have some vibration here, and Kyle Busch said, okay, well, I guess we'll have to roll with it. I kind of got the gist of what I have.
Oh, man. And what Kyle Busch has right now is 35th out of 38 cars out there on the racetrack. So they're already they got a little bit of a hole to climb out of, Mark, already early on here in this Nashville race weekend.
So with virtually no practice at all, in a few minutes they'll throw the green flag on Kyle Busch for a qualifying lap, and he'll run down to turn 1 wide open and not know what he has. And then he'll be up to full song in turn 3, not know what he has. You know, sometimes the life of a big-time stock car driver isn't all that fun, and that's not going to be fun at all.
Well, if there's a reason why this man's won 63 races, it's because he's good. So out of group number 2, we actually have 8 of the top 10 spots overall. Tyler Reddick is fastest, followed by Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Chase Briscoe. So we have 3 Toyotas and 2 Chevys in the top 5. Brad Keselowski, 6th quick. Ross Chastain, 7th quick. They're all in group number 2. Carson Hocevar, 8th. Bubba Wallace, 9th. They were in group 1. Michael McDowell in group number 2. He is 10th quick right now overall.
And again, we saw the speeds pick up, and now these guys are going to be settling in to make some long runs to see what their cars are going to do in the race later on tomorrow night. And again, spectacular weather expected for this race tomorrow night, and we certainly hope everybody gets a chance to go out to Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, absolutely. It is just a beautiful day. So right now, Tyler Reddick is not only fastest on the track, he's fastest over a 5-lap average. We'll find out just how well he does once he crosses over into the 10 and 15-lap average, because Ryan Blaney from group number 1 holds those top positions on the scoreboard right now. Tyler Reddick has just made his 11th lap overall, but we need consecutive laps to start kicking into those 10 and 15-lap averages.
And if you just joined us, this second practice session, a little bit of herky-jerky at the beginning of it. Kyle Busch spun in turn number 4, and as soon as we went back to green, Josh Berry did the same thing. Since then, we've been clean and green.
And Josh Berry is 27th overall when it comes to the speed chart. That puts him in the bottom 4 of these Group 2 cars. So obviously for Kyle Busch and Josh Berry, a couple incidents on the racetrack. We still have plenty of practice left for Group number 2. We'll come back to Nashville Superspeedway.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, this is PRN's Brett McMillan. You know, you don't spend your life just sitting around, so what you need is PRN's mobile app. By downloading the mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. If you download it today, you get station listings and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Download today. Available at the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
For 3 decades, Racing Electronics has been the #1 choice for scanners, headsets, and all race communications needs. Racing Electronics provides the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate NASCAR fan. Stop by and see them in the vendor area to purchase yours today, or you can learn more at racingelectronics.com. From Nashville Superspeedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, it's PRN's Brad Gilley. Did you know you could take PRN with you anywhere? That's right. By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. Download today for station listings and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, the Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Hey, I'm Corley Joy for Speedway Children's Charities. The mission for Speedway Children's Charities has remained true since its founding almost 40 years ago. To care for children in educational, financial, social, and medical needs in order to help them lead happy and productive lives. So many children have benefited from our group in the past, but we need your help now more than ever. There's so much we can do when we all join together, so let's start today. Visit speedwaycharities.org to learn more. I thank you in advance for your help.
Well, welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway in the middle of practice and qualifying for the Cup Series. This is Group 2 of who's fastest out there on the track with his Toyota teammate Denny Hamlin. And they told Tyler Reddick this on the radio, just saying it's you and the 11 out there, and they were focusing on what Denny Hamlin, driver of the 11, is doing differently. And they say Denny Hamlin's able to carry a lot more speed than Tyler Reddick can into turn 3. Turns 1 and 2 for Tyler Reddick, great. Turn 3, a little bit of improvement, they say, he can make and be like the 11 out there. Those two cars trading fast laps right now, Heather Dubell.
And for Trackhouse Racing, Chastain's currently running in that 7th position and has ran 18 laps in this run, but he just reported to his team that he's really happy with that race car. He said, I'm just a little loose, but really good response to the wheel, and he said, I'm also very comfortable. The balance stays the same the whole time, so very happy behind that number 1 machine.
2023 winner here at Nashville Superspeedway. Ross Chastain did that from the pole. Following up, Mark, on what Alan Cavana was saying, Tyler Reddick the fastest overall, Denny Hamlin number 2 fastest. Now we start to look at longer runs. Tyler Reddick the fastest on a 5 and 10 lap average, Denny Hamlin the fastest on a 15 lap average.
And again, the lap counts going up as well. Reddick 20 and counting. Hamlin the same way. For A.J. Allmendinger, he's about to complete, I believe, his 3rd lap. And he is finally out onto the racetrack after having that problem where the car was pulled as it was on pit road getting ready for practice. He was in this 2nd session, but during the 1st session, they actually pulled it off pit road, made it go through inspection again, and they had to make some changes, and then they penalized AJ by making him sit out the first 10 minutes of this session.
37th quick for A.J. Allmendinger out of 39 cars right now. And just to update you on a couple more, we talked about Josh Berry. He spun early on in practice, or went sliding through the grass, I guess we should say. He is 28th quick right now. Kyle Busch, he was the first incident on the racetrack, said the tires are flat spotted, and he's actually moved up to 24th on the speed chart right now. So they've at least found some speed with the car that has flat spotted tires.
And as we continue with this, I was trying to get a glance at A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger only 31st quickest right now in his run. Now is about to complete his 4th lap. And, boy, they've certainly got to hope that they hit it pretty close and do not have to make any major adjustments. And A.J. can just run out this session to try to get at least a little bit of a glimpse of what this car will do on a long run.
Wow, he just moved up a lot, though. He went from 32nd to 16th, went halfway up the field right now on that last lap with just over 10 minutes to go here in Group 2 practice before we line the cars up to go qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400 here at Nashville Superspeedway. And now that we're this deep into Group 2, that means the cars in Group 1, they're done working on their cars. NASCAR gives them 10 minutes after their practice session to work on their cars, so they're done working on them. The same will hold for Group 2. Once they're done with their practice session, they'll have 10 minutes to do whatever adjustments they're allowed to do on their cars, and then they'll just sit and wait for their turn to go out there and make their qualifying lap.
Just saw Ross Chastain go by. The Coke 600 winner now has run 24 laps in this practice session, and that is close to the top of number of laps run in this particular practice. William Byron, though, at 25 now. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin completing their 25th laps.
Yeah, Ross Chastain, the fastest now over a 10-lap and a 15-lap average. And we mentioned, again, Tyler Reddick is fastest over 10. Denny Hamlin is fastest over 15 laps. So the longer run, definitely something you want to see in your car. We saw that pay off last night in the Craftsman Truck Series race where Rajah Caruth picked up his 2nd career victory and 1st of the 2025 season. We'll see how tonight's 250-mile race plays out with the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Watching Denny Hamlin running very tight with Chase Elliott on the racetrack right now. And I really do think Hamlin's trying to get a feel for how dirty air is going to affect his car and how he can kind of move around on the racetrack. Elliott's on the bottom in 3 and 4. Denny's about mid-track, about a lane up from him, and they exit that corner basically running in the same tire tracks, if you will. But Hamlin, it seems like on purpose, is trying to stay pretty tight to the 9 car.
Yeah, I think you're right. That Progressive Toyota now takes a little bit of a higher line around the racetrack as Chase Elliott ducks down to the bottom. And for Hamlin, who has the fastest car, we reported, you heard it from pit road as well, Denny Hamlin making his 700th career start, scheduled to tomorrow. Jordan Fish, his fiance, is ready to give birth to their 3rd child together. And for Hamlin, having a fast race car is a great thing, but he already said that if Jordan is ready to, or if she goes into labor, I'm gone. I'm not going to race at Nashville. That's what's important to me, and I love that the NASCAR rulebook, Mark, allows for that. Hamlin's already been to victory lane this year. He's already playoffs qualified, and now he could go back and enjoy the birth of his 3rd child should he need to leave the racetrack here this weekend.
You always notice a lot of those births happen on Monday. They just always find a way to happen on a Monday or Tuesday.
Well, thank you to the miracles of modern technology. Yeah. A lot of times they can schedule these, but her due date is actually on race day tomorrow, June 1st. So, you know what? We wish them the best for sure. I'm sure Hamlin would love to have the perfect scenario of being able to run 400 miles here tomorrow, maybe grabbing a trip to victory lane in his 3rd win of the season, then going home and being with family as they expand their family.
That would be a full week right there.
That would be a full week.
In the span of 2 or 3 days, that would be a full week.
Yeah, it most definitely would. So here in group number 2 practice, it looks like right now the countdown clock is at 7 minutes and 30 seconds as the cars continue to work their way around. So now what we're seeing, laps being logged out there. As Mark had pointed out, you see a lot of drivers doing some drafting behind other cars, figuring out, okay, what am I going to need in dirty air to start making some passes and move my way up throughout the field. Last night, Chandler Smith, you know, we talked about him a lot in the race, but we talked about the fact that he was on pit road getting a little bit of crash repair to the right rear bed of that truck. He had gotten into an incident on the racetrack. Chandler Smith drove his way back up to the 7th position. We saw the ability to pass here last night in the Craftsman Truck Series race. I look forward to seeing how they do it tonight in the Xfinity race and tomorrow in the Cracker Barrel 400.
It certainly looks like the track is widening out. There is a lot of rubber on the racetrack from the bottom all the way, probably 3 lanes up. Only at the very, very top of the racetrack, you don't see any rubber up there in either end of the racetrack, but there seems to be a lot of rubber being put down. The track's widening out, and it's kind of distinct in the fact that you have, you know, one groove on the bottom, then one groove kind of up in the middle. There's a little bit of a lane between them, and there's a little bit of light concrete between those two grooves. So it's dark black, little bit of concrete, dark black again in each corner.
Nashville officials did put resin down in the upper grooves on the racetrack, and what that's designed to do as a traction compound is give more available lanes to race and make speed. If you only have one or two fast ways around the racetrack, in a lot of cases mark just one, well, then it's hard to make passes. It's hard to move around on the racetrack. Now, if you can use something like a traction compound like resin, in some cases they use a product called PJ1 Track Bite, you can actually widen the racetrack. You can give a lot more opportunity. And for all of the ticket-buying fans, for those fans who tune in as well, they get treated to a much better show. And for the drivers out there, they have options. If they have a faster car, they can find a faster way around.
We have seen some spectacular racing at Nashville Superspeedway. I remember when Ross Chastain won here. I mean, they were three wide at times, and he was busting down the middle of cars, and the racing was absolutely off the hook. And it looks like the track is widening out again this weekend, and the weather's going to cooperate. There's not going to be any rain, kind of wash it away. So this buildup, I think, is going to be something that is going to benefit us tomorrow, no question. But I also think it's going to be a big benefit in the upcoming Tennessee Lottery 250 Xfinity Series race.
Let's go down to pit road and check in with Alan Cabana.
And just on my side of pit road, I'm looking at the 47 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. It's important we talk about this team. They are a single car team, really making a play to point their way into the playoffs right now, sitting there 15th in points. Last week in Charlotte, they came back and finished 11th with, they had a few incidents during that Coke 600. Some damaged race car was able to finish 11th. I talked to Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s crew chief, Mike Kelly, before this practice and said they had a plan. Look, if we're running well, we're going to do about 30 laps out there on the racetrack. We're going to do a long run, come in, make an adjustment, and then finish out the practice. It seems, just looking at the charts, everything is going to plan. Single car speed, they're about 18th right now. They could use a little speed, but on the radio, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. said he liked how the handle was going right now with his 47 car, so that's all good. I was watching his crew chief, Mike Kelly, looking at all their data. We were talking about that ghost car data before and how they compare it to which cars. He was looking at the fastest cars, the ones that are picking up speed on the long run, Christopher Bell, and he immediately switched the ghost car data. He wants to see what the 47 car is doing compared to that 20 car right now. So just seeing how they operate down here and adjust with who they're following and how they make the fast cars and who they compare it to. It's pretty interesting to see how it works down here.
Stenhouse very quietly has had a decent year. He's currently 13th in the regular season point standings and making a serious bid to make the playoff on points, again, with only 8 different winners at this point.
Yeah, not bad at all. He's 2 positions above the cut line. Ryan Preece is on the cut line. Then it's Stenhouse Jr., and that team is really overperforming. Mark, we're starting to see pit road entry practice. Ross Chastain came in just a little bit hot, barely clipped the orange box right there, which would be effectively the commitment cone. They don't put a cone out there. They paint an orange box on the track. Brad Keselowski, well, he definitely would have had a commitment line violation when he came in. I think he had all 4 tires to the wrong side of that. So all part of practice with about 2.5 minutes left here in Group 2 before they go out and qualify for the Cracker Barrel 400.
So the hood up now on Ross Chastain's car. As we look down the pit lane, here is Stenhouse easing his way back down the pit lane to his stall in the NOS Energy Chevrolet. Here's Chase Briscoe in the Tracker Boats Toyota. And then, of course, you have Tyler Reddick, who's run the fastest lap and has the best 5 and 10 lap average right now, currently second in 15 lap average to Denny Hamlin.
Mark, one thing that's interesting is if you look at the 15-lap average right now, the fastest time from Tyler Reddick is 161.337 miles per hour. Denny Hamlin, his 15-lap average is 160.09 miles per hour. I mean, that's a lot of speed that they're putting out there on the racetrack.
And again, that's close to the pole speed from a year ago. Reddick has run quicker than that. but you have a 15-lap average almost equal to the pole speed. Yeah, that's some pretty good speed right there.
Yeah, over 15 laps for Hamlin. His fast lap is 161.006. His 15-lap average, 160.09. So not necessarily a lot of lap time drop-off as they're wearing out these Goodyear tires out here on the racetrack. Denny Hamlin, Connor Zilic, a couple of drivers pulling their cars. Actually, Denny Hamlin and Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen is driving a Red Bull car with the identical paint scheme that Connor Zilic drove last week in the Coca-Cola 600.
And, again, God bless these teams that do that. Like in the trucks last night, you had two trucks, HendrickCars.com sponsorship, one 7, the other one 71, and the one was kind of placed on the truck to kind of blend in with the rest of the paint scheme. So, yeah, they want to make things fun. For us, they do that.
Yeah, hey,
time to time.
Appreciate all the sponsors that support this sport.
Absolutely.
Sure. That's a really good thing. 1 minute left in practice. We still see William Byron out on the racetrack. Joey Logano's out there. Chase Elliott on the racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen has gone back out, presumably, to make a hard entrance onto pit road as he's coming off of turn number 4 right now. He will do just that. Hard on the binders and kicks that car to the left. He gets on cleanly, and looks like Logano, Elliott, Todd Gilliland, a couple of drivers going to go out there and stay out there on the racetrack as we wrap up practice here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Reddick has run 31 laps, Hamlin 41. Not quite as many as some of the other drivers. You have Chase Elliott's run 44. So has, it looks like Ryan Blaney has run that 44 as well. William Byron in that group. Daniel Suarez has ran 42 laps. So kind of interesting he hasn't felt the need to run more. Let's go to Heather.
And A.J. Allmendinger was pretty quiet over the radio there during that run. He's in the 11th position on speed, so not bad for the issues that they had without being able to get out here and have a calm start to their practice. But he did tell his team that what he needed most right now is help with the right rear, specifically getting over the bumps a little bit better, which we see has been a common theme for a lot of race cars here today.
Mark, it's interesting. We were talking earlier about a couple of cars slowing on the racetrack, and now we're getting maybe a little more information on that, at least from group number 2. Both Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Chase Briscoe were actually brought into practice early before this session ended because the field was told that there will not be restart practice. Well, they were doing that. That meant they were coming off of turn number 4. They were going slow. They would get into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone and simulate a restart. That's kind of a dangerous thing to do in practice here when you're on a different page than the rest of the field. NASCAR told them no at Nashville. We're not going to allow you to do that. Apparently they did. They cut them off of practice a little bit early. We're talking like just a couple of minutes, but still, it was a no-no, and NASCAR caught them on it.
So, again, they could always say what we said. It's pit stop practice, but nonetheless, NASCAR certainly. That's the part of seeing all the SMT data, right? I mean, they can't hide anything inside the race car at all anymore. We'll take a quick break. Come back for qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat, but imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Welcome to the land of the free, where we pledge allegiance to the flag, salute racing's rich history, and raise a drink for the new gladiators who dare take on the last great Coliseum. The Bass Pro Shops Night Race NASCAR Playoff Weekend returns to Bristol Motor Speedway September 11th through the 13th. Get a weekend package and a camping spot and make it a weekend to remember. It's not just a night race, it's Bristol, baby.
We're getting ready to set the starting lineup for the Cracker Barrel 400, qualifying from Nashville Superspeedway coming up right after this. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
A NASCAR Memory with Doug Rice and Kyle Petty.
To establish the Hall of Fame, first two people that get in, besides your dad, is Bill France Sr. and Bill Jr. Your time behind the wheel overlapped with Bill Jr., didn't
Yes,
it?
for sure. For sure. I was called to the truck many times while Bill Jr. was in there. But you know what I remember about Bill Jr. as much as anything was being a kid and him sitting and talking to my dad or talking to my granddad. And Bill Sr. would be in some of those conversations, but you'd sit down at the racetrack and they would talk about where the sport was and where the sport was going. Bill was never satisfied with where the sport was. And that is the one thing that I came to admire about him. At the time, I didn't. At the time, I didn't appreciate it as much. But, you know, I'll never forget we were doing some stuff, and I was driving for Felix, and I was called to the truck, and I was reminded gently by Bill France Jr. that this was his sport. And if I would like to participate in his sport, that I needed to kind of change my ways. And I changed my ways so that I could participate in his sport.
We're back at Nashville Superspeedway. 2 practice sessions have been put in for the Cracker Barrel 400. Now the cars that are going to be in the first group are being rolled down to the end of pit lane. We're about to start qualifying for tomorrow night's Cracker Barrel 400.
Corey Heim's going to be the first one to go out. He is making another start for 2311 Racing in that number 67 car. Mark, last year he also drove for 2311 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Had a very fast race car, was very impressive, running in the top 12 throughout most of the night, and really curious to see as his career continues to develop. 4 times winner on the Truck Series already this year. Last night, Rajah Caruth was able to pass him and hold him off to go into victory lane.
It was a great race. Corey did everything he could to win it, and Lane Riggs finishing in the 3rd spot. Very interesting race, and certainly a very big win, and you'd have to consider it a bit of an upset for Rajah to come in there and win, not because he hasn't won before. It's because Corey Heim has kind of ruled the roost all season long so far on the Truck Series.
Yeah, look, he straight up beat Corey Heim last night, and that says a lot. That says about a lot about you and your team, and for Spire Motorsports and Rajah Caruth, a very big deal for him. So big congratulations. He adds his name to the list of teams that have already made the playoffs in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The other part of that for Rajah last night, he came into the race behind the cut line in the point standings. He left the race not only a playoffs contender, but technically he would be above the cut line. That moved him up into 10th.
Again, a very big win, and it came at a very opportune time. You don't want to go too much deeper. They are much deeper into their regular season than the Xfinity and the Cup Series, and so you need to get that out of the way. You get another 2 or 3 races down the road, you're still below the cut line, you're trying to win, and all that can kind of pile up and create too much pressure on the driver and the team. So I thought that was a great win last night as far as timing for Rajah.
Let's go down to Heather DeBow.
And here now with Brad Keselowski, who is 6th on the board there in that practice session. Where is your level of satisfaction with the speed you were able to find out there on track?
Yeah, pretty decent. You know, I felt like ran a couple really strong laps. Right at the end, fell off just a touch too much, but solidly a top 10 car.
Now you guys have momentum on your side coming off of that top 5 finish, which has been kind of that shot in the arm that you need. How much will that help you here at Nashville this weekend?
Well, you know, what's the biggest thing it helps you with is just this qualifying order. You know, I feel like when you qualify later, it changes the dynamics, particularly when you have a qualifying session that goes into the night while the track's picking up pace.
Well, good luck in qualifying here, Brad. Alan Cavana?
Top of the board for Tyler Reddick. That gives us 1 lap indication. How'd you like it over the course of a longer run?
Yeah, I think our Pinnacle Toyota Camry had a lot of speed across the board. You know, it's nice to be able to come to a place like this where I feel like we've had that speed the last couple of years and just continue to bring it to the table. So, obviously, qualifying will be really important and a huge indicator of what the weekend's really going to look like. But, yeah, it's nice to be able to go out there and practice. You know, not really anything on the line, right? But be able to put down a lap like that, you know, that tells us that fire off speed is going to be on our side certainly this weekend.
I heard some of the feedback on the radio. They were giving comparisons to like what Denny in the 11 was doing. What do you do with that feedback when you're out there?
Yeah, I think just for the most part with the way the line was in practice there, you're kind of just getting an idea of where your strengths and weaknesses are. You're not really able to move around a whole lot right there. So, yeah, it just gives us an idea of where we stack up against who we think we're going to be racing against. So it's nice to know that we're right where we need to be.
All right, Tyler Reddick, one of the fast Toyotas out there in practice.
So Tyler Reddick, one of the drivers who qualified top 10 a year ago. Of course, Denny Hamlin won the pole. Josh Berry, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, we just spoke to him. He was fifth fast. Then Tyler Reddick at number 6, William Byron, Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, Austin Cindric. They were our top 10 a year ago. 4 Toyotas, 4 Fords, only 2 Chevrolets.
We're about 2 minutes away from qualifying starting here at Nashville Superspeedway. And in practice earlier, Tyler Reddick was the fastest. Denny Hamlin was second quick. These are overall speeds, Group 1 and 2 combined. Chase Elliott third quick. Fourth was William Byron, then Chase Briscoe fifth. Brad Keselowski was sixth. Ross Chastain was seventh. Eighth was Carson Hocevar. Bubba Wallace ninth. Michael McDowell 10th. And then after that, you had A.J. Allmendinger 11th. You have Eric Jones, who was 12th. Ty Gibbs was 13th. Christopher Bell was 14th. 15th was Ryan Blaney. 16th, Zane Smith. Ryan Preece, 17th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 18th. Justin Haley, 19th. Todd Gilliland rounded out the top 20. And again, there's Group 1, there is Group 2. There is a difference between them. And now these cars are going to go out there. Corey Heim does have the benefit of going out there and making a fast lap with some good rubber on the racetrack as they go out and qualify, because it's only a single car, with this being a concrete track. Some of these first cars are going to be picking up that rubber that was left on the racetrack from practice.
So currently coming into this qualifying session, we've had 13 races, 9 different pole winners. William Byron leading the way with 3, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe 2 apiece, and then getting 1 pole, Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Zane Smith, Kyle Larson, and Carson Hocevar. So interesting group of pole sitters so far this season.
Yeah, it is. And Carson Hocevar last week had a very fast car. He had a little bobble in qualifying. He ended up starting 39th, raced his way to the front. We'll see what he can do here this weekend at Nashville. Let's go back down to Alan Cavana.
And I'm with Ty Gibbs in the beautifully green interstate battery scheme this weekend. What'd you like about your car in practice?
Yeah, I feel like our car is pretty good. We have some adjustments to make, but I'm really happy with it right now, and we're going to see what we can do with it in qualifying. Hopefully we can get ourselves a good spot. Unfortunately, we're going out a little bit early, so that's not going to help, but we're going to give us our best run and go hammer down tomorrow for sure. Thank you to Monster Energy, Interstate Batteries, Toyota, Jacobs Racing, Oakley, everybody that's with me.
I know there was talk before practice what that patch down in Turn 3 was going to be like. Did you hit it, and what happened?
Yeah, I went out there and felt it, and it's really smooth, but it's not that smooth in the race car, so I don't know what happened there, but I didn't honestly know that there was a patch till I showed up either, so whatever.
Yeah, teams are learning it now. That's one thing, all the research work these teams did, that was before the patch was there, so they're all learning this stuff in practice, Heather DeBow.
And Eric Jones was 12th fastest in practice. I heard on the radio that you just needed more overall grip, which is probably tricky to do on this concrete surface, so the team's going to give you what they can, but what do you do as a driver to find grip out on track?
Yeah, I think just moving around and trying some different lanes. It was kind of tough in practice. I felt like 1 and 2 wasn't ready for sure to move up. 3 and 4 had a little bit, but it was still slower. So just searching around, be the big thing tomorrow night, I feel like. We'll see here in qualifying. It's just going to be a matter of putting it all together. I feel like it's a tricky place to get one really good lap and not overdo it and go too far. So we'll see. Dollar Tree Camry feels pretty good, so hopefully we can put it all together.
Now, we saw some drivers have some issues over that bump in 3. Did you have any issues with that over there?
No, I felt pretty good. I was worried after watching the first couple, but no, I was pretty happy with it. So hopefully it stays that way.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you very much, Alan. The first car goes out, makes his lap. That was Corey Heim. So he sets the bar faster than he went in practice, Mark, 160.155 miles per hour.
That's a pretty good lap for Corey Heim as we continue qualifying. And now it is going to be Chad Fincham on the racetrack. Talked a moment ago with Ty Gibbs. He has been top 10 in qualifying 5 times this year. Leading that category, William Byron with 9. Byron, the only driver with an average finish in the single digits. Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson next in line have qualified top 10 7 times. And then 6 times for Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Josh Berry.
All right, so Chad Fincham now coming around. He is going to take the checkered flag. His qualifying lap will be in the books. Corey Heim over 160. Chad Fincham, well, not quite so good. 150.155 .903, a full 10 miles per hour off the speed of Corey Heim. As our next qualifier is out, J.J. Yaley's in the number 44 Chevy.
You know, on YouTube, I'm not even quite sure why it showed up on my Facebook page. Somebody probably posted it, and I'm not sure how all that works. But watch J.J. Yaley making a qualifying run at Indy from years ago.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, it was. I mean, I think people forget just how multifaceted a driver J.J. Yaley has been and the experience that he has. But it's pretty cool to watch him wheeling a car in Indy 500 qualifying.
A USAC Triple Crown champion, J.J. Yaley, has done so much here in motorsports, and it's great to see him in NASCAR. He's up to 157.278 as we go back down to Alan Cavana.
And Chris Buescher is driving a black car with a metallic red number. Not easy to see out there. How was practice for you?
Yeah, pretty good. This Kroger Royco Sport Mustang fired off pretty decent. New bump over there that we're all obviously caught a little off guard, but I mean realistically it's concrete, right? So it's going to have some character to it. It's pretty happy. There's very little fall off, so makes this qualifying that much more important.
Your team already had a win this week. You got some points back from NASCAR after an appeal. What's that do for your mindset in terms of playoff run and all that?
Nothing. It's ultimately it doesn't change any of our weekends, right? We're coming to the racetrack fair how to win Nashville. It's obviously a plus at the end of the day, but hasn't changed anything for this weekend. So, again, I think that we've been good here. We've qualified well. We've run well. So we have a lot of high hopes coming into this one, and just got to get through this single lap here to set ourselves up for a good pit stall and some good track position.
All right, appreciate your time. Again, Chris Buescher and the team getting points back from NASCAR after an appeal, but of course, easiest way to make the playoffs is just get that victory.
Daniel Suarez is on the racetrack now after Zane Smith has taken over the top spot. His speed 160.855 as we go back down to Heather DeBow.
And here now with last year's race winner, Joey Logano. Joey, how was the practice session for you today?
I thought it was okay. Our long-haul speed was pretty good with the Shell Pencil Mustang. Our short run was a little bit off, but seems like we're in the ballpark. So we'll see what we got here for qualifying.
Now, if you go back-to-back at this track, where does this track here, Nashville Superspeedway, rank on your like list?
When you win, you love them all. It doesn't really matter, does it? But definitely a cool track. It's awesome the fans show up here. It seems like they've been drawing a really good crowd, and we always say it, right? Nashville and NASCAR go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Great answer. Good luck in qualifying.
Thank you very much, Heather. We appreciate that. Zane Smith, the fastest. Daniel Suarez goes up to second quick. Corey Heim third, followed by J.J. Yaley and Chad Fincham. And on the track right now, we see that number 77 car of Carson Hocevar. He goes to the top, 160.920 miles per hour.
And, again, that's a little bit quicker than we had for a speed a year ago from Denny Hamlin. In the first year that we came here to Nashville, but it wasn't the next-gen car. Eric Almirola, 2021, 161.992. We're starting to move up into that area again.
Yeah, we are. By the way, the weather conditions here, it is a beautiful day. 79 degrees currently in Lebanon, Tennessee, and it is a beautiful blue sky above us. Last year when we raced here, a little deeper into the summertime, it was much hotter out here at Nashville Superspeedway. These cooler temperatures and a cooler racetrack certainly helping a lot. Riley Herbst is on the track right now. His 2311 Toyota is just behind teammate Corey Heim. Riley Herbst a couple miles per hour off of Heim's time. Heim is fourth quick. Riley Herbst moves down to fifth quick as we have another Spire car and Justin Haley making his lap.
He'll be followed by Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Cody Ware, Kyle Larson. And, again, these guys are a little bit earlier in the qualifying order than normal because they had problems last week at Charlotte.
Yeah, really tough luck for Ryan Blaney. Team Penske was just really not doing a good job of showing up in the Coca-Cola 600, except for Ryan Blaney. He had been working his way through the field, got caught up in a three-wide incident coming off of turn number 4, his fifth DNF of 2025 in just 13 races.
Tough break for Ryan. And, what makes it frustrating is you talked about Penske not having a good car, any of the cars not being competitive. He's moving up through the field, and then he gets grabbed by a crash that he had nothing to do with. Didn't start it, wasn't really anywhere near it, and it came out and grabbed him, took him out of the race.
Justin Haley had gone to the top. Now Ryan Blaney is under the clock right now. He is making his way off of turn number 2 as we go down to Alan Cavana.
And Noah Gregson. Nashville seems like a Noah Gregson sort of town. How about the track? How's it treating you today?
Yeah, it's good. The truck's quite a bit faster than last year, cooler temperatures, and a little bit different tire compound. So felt like we were decent on the long run. Didn't quite show it on the fast lap, but with the guy spinning out over the bump to start the second round of practice, it got some junk on the tires and whatnot. But we feel like we got a pretty good Rush Truck Center's Ford Dark Horse Mustang. It's a fun track, fun city. The fans are awesome here, and excited to give them a show this weekend.
All right, we'll see what he does out in qualifying. No, he's dressed appropriately. Has a nice big cowboy hat on.
Nice. Ryan Blaney goes to the top, 161.751. That's what I love about Noah Gregson, by the way. He is always up to have some fun. Bubba Wallace out there right now, Mark. He takes that Toyota into turn number 3, keeps it right there on the white line as he goes through turn 4.
Need to also mention Justin Haley, 161.631, is currently second quick, followed by his Spire Motorsports teammate Carson Hocevar. Bubba Wallace to the top. 162.162. That's 29.526. And that is a very fast lap.
We'll be back with more qualifying from Nashville Superspeedway.
Whether your engine runs daily or only when you need it, Z-Max Micro Lubricant is the force you need against carbon buildup that can damage your engine. Combustion causes carbon and other harmful deposits to build up in your engine, fuel system, and transmission. And carbon is like sandpaper rubbing against your engine's internal parts. You don't want that. You want Z-Max Micro Lubricant. It soaks into metal and keeps your vehicle running at peak performance. Find out more at zmax.com or visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Protect your engine to the max with Z-Max.
Hi, it's PRN's Brad Gilley. Did you know you can take PRN with you anywhere? That's right. By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. Download today for station listings and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, The Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Download today, available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
At least temporarily, Bubba Wallace has set a new qualifying record here at Nashville Superspeedway, and you're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Here's Christopher Bell.
My Toyota Camry TRD race car isn't cheap to build and prepare. I have a pit crew that maintains and fixes my equipment. I have a spotter high above the track watching my back, talking me through turns and potential dangers on the track. I physically train to handle the stress of driving. And I have software helping my crew chief and engineers make the right strategy calls. And with all this, I never take my eyes off the road, and neither should you. One distraction can change everything in one instant.
Back underway with qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400. Cody Ware has taken his car as he's warming up and about to make his qualifying lap as we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway alongside Mark Garrow. My name is Brad Gilley. Our pit reporters for qualifying here today, Heather DeBoe, and the man we'll go down to now, Alan Cavana.
And I'm with Tennessee native Josh Berry. You come back to this track as a Cup Series winner with a team that can go out and win this race tomorrow. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, we've had a good season for sure. It's always fun coming back here to the Nashville area. Yeah, hopefully we can have a good weekend.
How'd practice treat you?
I was kind of, we obviously had that like half spin kind of on the warm-up lap, which kind of threw us through a loop a little bit there. But I don't know, just trying to block that out of my mind really at this point. Just go qualify and then think on it overnight.
All right, yeah, an eventful practice for the 21 team and Josh Berry, but they got to put one lap down here, make it a good one.
Cody Ware just qualified 8th on the racetrack now. Kyle Larson trying to unseat Bubba Wallace from the number 1 spot. His best qualifying effort so far this year, he was outside pole at COTA, and his best qualifying effort here at Nashville so far, 9th. He could really improve upon that, certainly today.
Inaugural race winner here at Nashville. Kyle Larson goes out, and he goes to 6 quick. And, Mark, he won the first race here, the previous generation of race car. He has been consistently strong at Nashville. His lifetime average, 4.5. His average of the next gen car, 5.7. Larson has had all single-digit finishes here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Certainly very consistent at this racetrack. Coming out behind him, Cole Custer. Also now in the qualifying line, coming up behind Custer, Austin Cindric, John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Austin Dillon.
Out on the racetrack right now, Cole Custer with his Haas Factory Team's car. He goes from the middle lane and drops it down to the bottom before drifting out to the outside retaining wall. Green flag is out for Cole Custer. This team at Haas Factory Teams, last year, 4-car organization with Stuart Haas Racing. They sold all but one of their charters. Now it's Haas Factory Teams. A very tight alliance with RFK Racing. I mean, this is a team that is in the meetings. They're very tight with what goes on there at RFK. Cole Custer won at Kentucky Speedway during his rookie season as a Cup driver, went back to Xfinity, won a championship, did a lot of things, and now trying to make some big things happen as a single-car team, albeit one with a very tight alliance.
They have really struggled in qualifying. That's a decent run, though, by Custer. He is currently 7th. So far this season has not qualified in the top 10 one time. Average qualifying coming into this race, 25.7. So a lot of times getting a team turned around, it actually happens on Saturdays. You find the speed, you start getting better in qualifying, things start to happen better for you in the race. So Custer and that group still working on that.
Let's go down to pit road with Heather DeBow.
And here now with Michael McDowell. Michael, both of your teammates have already gone out for their qualifying run. I see you're watching SMT. Was there anything that you liked that you saw from them that you might try to apply to your run coming up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cars that obviously are going to go between when they went out early and we go out. Typically on a concrete surface like this, the track will change quite a bit, but really proud of the speed that we unloaded with all 3 Spire Motorsports cars. So, you know, qualifying's a lot of pressure. You got to get everything right, and this is a tricky place just because you're braking, you're downshifting. There's a lot you can screw up. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit there with our teammates, and with having a late draw, that should help us. So just got to go put a good lap in.
Well, no pressure. Deep breath. Good luck.
That's right, no pressure.
All right, thank you very much, Heather. We appreciate that. Austin Cindric on the track right now. Last week, Team Penske had an off week in many different areas. First of all, in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, their drama really started before the green flag came out when Scott McLaughlin wrecked his car on the warm-up lap, and then it just continued with Joseph Newgarden wrecking, Will Power having a mediocre run. Then we went to Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600. And quite honestly, Mark, all the Team Penske cars were just not fast.
Tough weekend for Roger Penske. They call him the captain. When it came to last weekend, he had to go down with the ship because nothing went right for Team Penske either place. And I'm sure that is going to be something that won't sit well with Mr. Penske, and he's certainly going to take measures to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, right now, Penske cars are 2 and 3. We're not even halfway through qualifying, but Ryan Blaney second quick behind Bubba Wallace. Austin Cindric's lap moved up to third quick. Now the Toyota Camry XSE of Ty Gibbs with Joe Gibbs Racing is on the track as he comes to take the checkered flag, drops it down to the apron on the front straightaway. Ty Gibbs will move up to fifth quick at a speed of 161.440 miles per hour. We're much faster than what they practiced already, Mark.
And Alex Bowman now on the racetrack, and that remarkably, the speeds aren't just up a little bit. They're up a lot. Again, Wallace on top has set a new qualifying record, and he is certainly nervously hoping on pit road that holds on and he can grab the pole position. Alex Bowman out there on the racetrack right now, though, looked pretty good in practice, told us he didn't quite know everything about his race car that he would necessarily like to know, but it seems to be pretty pretty quick, and we'll see what Alex is about to do.
Nashville Superspeedway has not been kind to Alex Bowman over the past 4 seasons. Let's see about 2025. Checkered flag goes out, and he is going to be 6 quick right now, 161.375. And, Mark, looking at it, 6 quick right now might not get you in the top half of the starting lineup by the time this is all said and done.
I agree. Ty Dillon is on the racetrack now, so it's Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, Ty Gibbs, our current top 5. We just talked about Alex Bowman at number 6. 7th, Carson Hocevar, Zane Smith 8th, 9th, Kyle Larson, 10th is Cole Custer, then 11th, Daniel Suarez, Corey Heim 12th, 13th, Cody Ware, John Hunter Nemechek is 14th, 15th, Riley Herbst, J.J. Yelly 16th, 17th is going to be Chad Fincham.
And let's see where Ty Dillon fits into this mix as he took the checkered flag. He is just outside of the top 10. So far, 11th quick among the 18 drivers who have gone out and taken a time so far here in qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400. Now Ty's brother, Austin Dillon, goes out. How about that? Ty Dillon sets a bar of 10th quick for Austin Dillon. You want to beat the rest of the field, but you definitely want to beat your sibling.
Yeah, you got to have bragging rights at the Dillon family festivities later on today. I'm sure they'll all get together. Here is Austin working down in turn number 3. And I've been watching these guys go at each other in, Bandolero cars and Legends cars, all kinds of stuff over the years, going way back to Bowman Gray and different places like that. Austin Dillon, pretty good lap. He is 5th quick, drops his brother to 12th. So we know who's going to have to buy the dinner.
That's right. Ty Dillon, it's on you tonight. Here we go. Qualifying continuing. There is that Kroger car of Chris Buescher now as he takes the green flag to make his lap. Actually looked like he had a decent amount of speed coming off of turn number 4, although this track, again, we talk about it. You hear drivers talk about how much of a unicorn it is on the schedule at 1 1/3, concrete, 14 degrees of banking. Sometimes the cars look faster than they're going and sometimes vice versa. Right now, Chris Buescher, we're about to find out as he drops that car down to the white line in turns 3 and 4.
And this is a completely new look for Chris Buescher, and he's going to be kind of in camouflage for some of his fans until they figure out that paint scheme this weekend. And all the way to the top, Chris Buescher, 162.619, 29.443 seconds here at Nashville Superspeedway, and that is a new, at least temporary, qualifying record.
Halfway through Cup Series qualifying for the Cracker Barrel 400 here at Nashville Superspeedway.
This is a Camry. This is a Camry on NASCAR. This is a Camry on NASCAR with Ty Gibbs behind the wheel. Now you're up to speed. You in? Follow the action at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
Drivers, start your engine!
Atlanta Motor Speedway is built for battles. High speeds, tight packs, dramatic finishes.
Crossover move! They're 3 wide for the lead!
But you've never seen Atlanta Motor Speedway like this, under the lights, where every moment feels bigger. Experience the Quaker State 400, available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th. Under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at atlantamotorspeedway.com.
Chris Buescher so far has set the fastest time as we're halfway through qualifying at Nashville Superspeedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Get your NASCAR fix with PRN's Garage Pass.
It's hard to just turn it around in 1 week, but I wouldn't be shocked if we did.
I don't think the results have been what we have hoped for or expected, but I think the potential in the cars and the speed has been pretty good.
It's a big deal already, so that's a big positive for us. So I think now it's just about working together and getting better.
I think the Penske cars are still elite when it comes to plate racing.
Hi, I'm Mark Garrow, tracking the latest racing news every weekday.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Back here at Nashville Superspeedway, the car you hear on the track right now, Shane Van Gisbergen with Trackhouse. Again, Trackhouse, their cars are built and assembled in Concord, North Carolina, the headquarters for the organization, which owns teams in multiple forms of motorsports right here in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee.
So Shane Van Gisbergen trying to, again, continue to learn the oval track part of this business. Certainly one of the favorites every time we go to a road course is one of the preeminent road racers in the world. Van Gisbergen, though, qualifying 30.5, his average starting position in this as far as qualifying is concerned. So that's been a major struggle all season long. Let's see what Shane can do today. Much better. He is 8th quick now out of 21 cars that have qualified so far.
Yeah, and that's going to put him better than 30th, Mark.
Absolutely.
They are right now.
That's exactly what it's going to do for sure.
That is a great point. Up next, we've got Tyler Reddick. He was the fastest earlier in overall speed. In practice, he was the fastest on a 5-lap average, second quick on a 10 and 15-lap average behind his team owner, Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick takes that number 45 Toyota down the back straightaway here at Nashville Superspeedway. Can he unseat Chris Buescher at the top? Reddick's teammate Bubba Wallace is second quick. What can the driver of the 45 do?
Tyler Reddick uses the middle groove at turn 4, now cuts down across the apron as he crosses the start-finish line. He goes to number 1, 29.308, 163.3684. Tyler Reddick. That's a
monster lap.
That is absolutely right. A monster lap for Tyler Reddick.
Man, good for him. So there we go. Now he's set the bar. We've had cars that, well, we don't know if they're going to be faster or not. He was fastest in practice, but we had cars that showed a lot of speed as well. Todd Gilliland is out on the racetrack right now with his Front Row Motorsports number 34 car. And for Todd Gilliland, still looking for that first pole starting spot. Last year he watched his then teammate Michael McDowell win 6 of them. And Todd Gilliland now seeing what he can do in qualifying here at Nashville as he comes across the start-finish line, takes the checkered flag, and that is not going to be good, not going to be good at all, Mark.
19th for Todd Gilliland out of 23 cars that have qualified so far, and qualifying has been a little bit of a tough deal for him this year, only twice top 10 as far as starting the race, and Gilliland at 22.2 average, that's going to get worse after that.
Yeah, that is. Legacy Motor Club on the track right now. Eric Jones, they were a great first half team in the Coca-Cola 600 last week before they were dropping back as soon as it became darker and much cooler out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But this is a team that's found speed. Eric Jones, top 5 run at Texas Motor Speedway about a month or so ago. And now for Eric Jones, he is fast here. He goes up to 4th quick as we go down to pit road and Alan Cavana.
And I found Chase Briscoe, and he wanted to make sure you had a last-second talk with your teammate, Christopher Bell. Can you give us an idea of what either you wanted to know or share with him?
Yeah, I was just curious what he thought of his car in practice. I talked to Denny. You know, me, Denny, and Bell were all in that same second group, so I was just curious, you know, how much their car kind of felt like mine. And Christopher's was definitely more similar than Denny's was. So, yeah, just trying to make sure I'm feeling the right things. These things drive so much different than what I'm used to. So, yeah, I felt like my car was okay. I wasn't great by any means. So, yeah, not really sure what I'm going to have right here in our Bass Pro Shops Toyota, but hopefully I can put up a good lap.
If you need to describe a perfect qualifying lap, what is it here? Where do you have to be great?
I have no idea. I think the best I've ever qualified here is like 25th. So, yeah, I'm definitely not the guy to know even what a perfect one feels like. But, yeah, I think biggest thing, you got to be able to get in hard here, you know, carry the speed, and then just slow down the least amount in the corner, right? So, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory here. Like, you just want to kind of be on the yellow line, but there's a lot of different ways of doing it. So, hopefully I do it right this time.
I appreciate the honesty from Chase Briscoe. Heather?
And William Byron will be the last driver to roll off here in qualifying. So what kind of pressure does that put on you after you've seen everybody go and you have one more shot at it to get the pole?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, right? It's definitely a little bit of pressure, but, you know, it's an advantage. So you got to use the advantage, right? Just treat it like that. Just do your normal qualifying lap and try to execute well. So, yeah, my team's going to have all the information. I have all the information. So just go out there and try to execute a good lap.
You talked about that information. For our listeners at home, you and your crew chief, Rudy Fugel, were just talking. What are those discussions like right before you qualify?
We're just talking about balance and just sort of what we see on the racetrack. So, yeah, it's nothing earth-shattering, but all the little details.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Heather. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, catching up to qualifying, Kyle Busch has qualified 12th. Noah Gragson has just gone out and qualified 17th.
On the track right now, last year's winner, Joey Logano. Logano won the race by being able to save Sunoco fuel through 5 overtime finishes. When asked about how he thought Logano could save fuel, actually this was on social media, Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin's then crew chief, just put up 4 letters, S-L-O-W. But they were fast enough to win the race and save fuel.
Okay. Here's Josh Berry.
Joey Logano goes up to second quick out there on the racetrack right now, as Josh Berry, Mark said, gets out there on the racetrack. Josh Berry had a little bit of a slide coming off of turn number 4, and with one Penske-built car, now second quick. Let's see if another one can get up there as Josh Berry dips it into turn 3 and 4.
Berry had a little bit of a spin, about a half spin during practice, and he is now down on the apron across the line. And Berry is going to be 9th fast out of now. We've had at this point 28 cars to qualify.
Brad Keselowski is going to be the next one as he comes around turn number 4. Last week in the Coca-Cola 600, it was the day and night that Keselowski needed. He was finally able to put together a complete race after 13 of them on the schedule. Keselowski picked up his first top 5, first top 10, had some laps led, and a lot went on right with him during that 5th place run. And Mark, as you had mentioned earlier, it doesn't sound great right now, but it does mean a lot. It put him up into the top 32 of the point standings, which is going to mean a whole lot after this weekend.
And he talked about the fact that you need a good run so you don't try too hard. The worse it gets sometimes, the harder you try, things get worse. The hole gets deeper. And Brad Keselowski, look at that. He has just qualified in the 2nd spot at 162.985 miles per hour. So our current top 5, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, and Bubba Wallace, all of those cars are above the old track qualifying record that was held by, I believe, Ross Chastain.
When we leave Nashville Superspeedway, Denny Hamlin will either be a 3-time father or will have completed his 700th career start. All of that remains to be seen. His fiancee, Jordan Fish, is due any day with their 3rd child. If she should go into labor, Denny Hamlin will leave the racetrack. If not, he will run his 700th Cup Series race, and he might do it from the pole, Mark. He goes to the top, 164.119, 0.8 of a mile per hour faster than Tyler Reddick, who's second quick.
First driver to ever run over 164 miles per hour in qualifying. And the old qualifying record was set by Eric Almirola. Ross Chastain has the race record for this event here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the track right now as we're winding it down. We've had 30 of the 39 drivers take laps. Stenhouse Jr., this is the only true single-car team, meaning they don't have a direct competitive alliance with anyone else. They get a little bit from Hendrick Motorsports. Maybe every other week they might get an hour or 2 of simulator time. It's not much at all, but they're right now within playoffs contention, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will take the checkered flag, and he will go up to 7th quick in that car prepared by crew chief Mike Kelly.
They have to be very happy about that run, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will have a good starting position in this event tomorrow night. And on the racetrack now, Michael McDowell.
Michael McDowell has already won a pole this year. He drops it down to the yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack trying to find a fast lap, and we'll see what Michael McDowell can do. He is the 3rd of the Spire Motorsports cars, and we saw earlier Justin Haley put up a pretty quick lap. That quick lap earlier, Mark, at over 161 is now good enough for 11th quick, but we know Michael McDowell can qualify, and Travis Peterson can put on the great race cars, fast race cars out on the track. So for McDowell, wow, not bad, Mark.
4th quick for Michael McDowell, so he'll be up near the front of the pack when they drop the green flag in the Cracker Barrel 400. And on the racetrack now, it is going to be Ryan Preece. Still to go, A.J. Allmendinger, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, and William Byron.
Ryan Preece with RFK sitting on the bubble when it comes to playoffs contention right now. That's in spite of having a disqualification at Talladega Superspeedway that cost him somewhere in the area of 41 points. And for Ryan Preece, he is truly having a career year since joining RFK. And that's a big deal, Mark, because this is an expansion for RFK back to a 3-car organization. And Ryan Preece will take the checkered flag. 13th quick.
Brad Keselowski talked earlier in the media center today how proud of the fact that they have been able to put a team around Ryan Preece that can really show what he can do. And you're absolutely right. This is a career year for Ryan Preece. A lot of people have always believed this former modified champion is the guy that can really get it done. Never had the opportunity as far as the right car, the right people, the right team. Looks like RFK has surrounded him with all the right pieces. He's making it pay off.
Yeah, he has. A.J. Allmendinger had a 4th-place run in the Coca-Cola 600 here today at Nashville Superspeedway, They actually pulled his car off of pit road, made them fix something that they saw that they didn't like. They said it was off by about 30 thousandths. They got it repaired. He missed 10 minutes of practice here at Nashville. And for A.J. Allmendinger, I would say, for a limited practice, for a car that had to be adjusted after inspection, not bad to be 12th quick right now, Mark.
I think they'll certainly take that. On the racetrack now, Christopher Bell. And again, we're getting down to the closing stages of Cracker Barrel 400 qualifying. Just 4 drivers left to go following Bell, Briscoe, Elliott, Chastain, and Byron.
C. Bell has DeWalt on the Toyota Camry XSE. He's midway down the back straightaway here at Nashville. He's going to take that car, drop it down to the yellow line, looking to make some big things happen with a great starting spot and great pit selection here this weekend as well. That is ultra important. 2nd week with the new spotter also. And for C. Bell, 4th quick, not bad, Mark.
So Joe Gibbs Racing right now, 1st and 4th. They've got 2 in the top 5. Toyota doing very well. They've got 3 of the top 4 when you put Tyler Reddick temporarily, at least at this point, outside of row 1.
Chase Briscoe told our pit reporters earlier he didn't feel like his car was that fast in practice. He was 5th quick overall. His Toyota is out on the racetrack right now. Let's see if he can repeat that here in qualifying, Mark.
He hustles out of turn number 2, heads down the back straightaway here at Nashville Superspeedway. And Chase Briscoe now dives down to turn 3, gets in there good and low, and lets the race car now move up to the top of the racetrack. And now he'll cut hard to the left, take it across the apron and the finish line.
All right, for Chase Briscoe, now he goes to the top. He knocks teammate Denny Hamlin off the provisional pole. That'll put Tyler Reddick at least in row number 2, if not further back, with still 3 more cars to qualify. Chase Briscoe didn't feel like his car is fast. Well, that's probably a good feeling for him because it is. Another Chase is out on the racetrack trying to chase Briscoe.
I didn't think we'd see a point where we were chasing sub-29-second laps here at Nashville Superspeedway, but Briscoe, 29.125. We're within a tenth of getting that done, so we'll see if they'll ramp it up even more. Here's Chase Elliott working his way out of turn number 4, heading for the checkered flag.
Chase Elliott now, he comes to the checkered flag. Let's see what his Chevrolet can do. Kelly Blue Book the colors on that car. 9th quick right now. Only 2 Chevrolets are within the top 10. Michael McDowell 6th. Chase Elliott is 9th.
Next up, Coke 600 winner Ross Chastain. He's got that car in the wind across the stripe. The Busch Light Chevy takes the green flag, heads to 1.
He won the pole and the race in 2023, had a nice dominating performance, led a third of the race. Now Ross Chastain would love to start from the pole again. What a great way to be able to back up a win in one of NASCAR's crown jewel events, the Coca-Cola 600. He joined us last night for the Truck Series broadcast on the NASCAR Racing Network, still wearing that Coca-Cola 600 Champions ring.
And it was a monster of a ring. They needed to do some curls to be able to carry that thing around. Ross Chastain, 4th fast. So now there was one that could take it away from Chase Briscoe, and that is William Byron.
William Byron collected 65 points in the Coca-Cola 600. That's the highest that someone's going to get all year with the 4 stages in that race. Led stage 1, 2, and 3. and with 6 laps to go in the Coca-Cola 600 was passed by Ross Chastain, who ultimately took the win. But William Byron started the season with a crown jewel victory in the Daytona 500 and took over the points lead last week as well with that runner-up finish. Here he comes, Mark, our last qualifier. Can William Byron unseat Chase Briscoe?
That is the number one question now as he crosses the finish line, takes the checkered flag. The answer is no. Byron is going to be third fast, and with a new qualifying record, Chase Briscoe is going to start from the pole in the Cracker Barrel 400.
This is Kyle Petty for Echo Park Automotive, and I'm here to tell you why you should shop Echo Park before you buy a car, truck, or SUV. Over half of inventory at Echo Park is priced below $25,000, and car for car, truck for truck, Echo Park Automotive's pricing is $3,000 less than the competition. Maybe that's why Echo Park has over 95,000 five-star reviews. Echo Park Automotive is built to make sure you drive away happy. It's even in their name, Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. The official used car dealer of Speedway Motorsports.
Hey folks, it's Doug Rice. Did you know you can take PRN with you anywhere? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live races just about any place on the planet, and you will not miss a second of the action. Plus, you can hear our shows like the fantastic editions of Fast Talk, plus Brett McMillan on the Pit Reporters and Mark Garrow with Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information right at your fingertips. The PRN mobile app, available at the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
From Nashville Superspeedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Anytime you get somebody at the front of the pack who's not used to running up there and who's not been there, the established names are going to scream. They're going to cry. They're going to whine. Oh, there's somebody else coming up here to get my trophy and get my money. It's Carson Hocevar. What's he doing up here? He had just as much right to get in there and force the issue, and if not for the caution, he's a race winner.
Hey, this is Doug Rice of the Performance Racing Network. That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back here live at Nashville Superspeedway. Qualifying is over, and Chase Briscoe is getting all of the heads up and accolades because you are on the pole. 10 minutes ago, you just said you couldn't qualify in this place. Now you're on the pole. How'd you do that?
Well, I was driving a Joe Gibbs racing car. That certainly helps. In the past, this has just been a place where I just haven't really gotten. I mean, I feel like I've gotten around decent, but truthfully, this place is very, very car dependent. And Joe Gibbs racing cars are really, really good here, so it makes my job a lot easier. So, yeah, just glad we were able to put a lap together. Track position and pit road, everything is really, really big at this racetrack. So just being able to start up front will be a massive advantage for us, and hopefully we can, maintain it. That's something we weren't able to do last week. We started on the pole and didn't lead a single lap. So hopefully, tomorrow will be a little bit different.
Chase Briscoe gets the pole by 0.05 of a second, guys.
So his first at Nashville, his third of the season, fifth career for Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row after winning it for the Coca-Cola 600. So Chase Briscoe will start on the pole for the Cracker Barrel 400. Joining him on the front row, his Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota teammate of Denny Hamlin. Third will be William Byron, Tyler Reddick fourth. Fifth, Ross Chastain. Brad Keselowski will start sixth. Christopher Bell seventh. Eighth will be Michael McDowell. Last year's winner, Joey Logano, will start ninth. And rounding out the top 10 will be Chris Buescher.
Then 11th, Chase Elliott. Bubba Wallace 12th. 13th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Eric Jones 14th. Blaney is 15th. Austin Cindric 16th. 17th, A.J. Allmendinger. Justin Haley 18th. 19th, Ryan Preece. 20th. Josh Berry.
Back on the air in just 30 minutes for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Tennessee Lottery 250 here from Nashville Superspeedway. Tomorrow's broadcast of the Cracker Barrel 400 will start at 6 o'clock Eastern. Want to thank our broadcast crew, pit reporters Heather DeBoe and Alan Cavana, our engineers Harold Hamrick, Ben Blevins, and Bill Parrott, our director Laura Beth Barnhart, sales and marketing Jerry Horn, Barry Roach, David Stiles, Alexis Erickson, Hank Lee, and Caleb Whistler. Production is Kent Bernhardt for Mark Garrow. My name is Brad Gilley. Congratulations to Chase Briscoe on his third pole of the season. We'll see you in 30 minutes for Xfinity Series racing here on PRN.
Qualifying and practice from Nashville Superspeedway has been a presentation of PRN, the Performance Racing Network.